These are tales of danger and the pursuit of endless riches. Adventurers and heroes from all parts of the world charging into the unknown, setting steel and magic against the most impossible foes, with each time wondering if this would be the last. Storms gather on the horizon, and evil rises from the waters of despair. These are tales of endless adventure. These are the Awakened Fables. The party makes its way through the Verte Jardin forest, where they discover a presence. They discover a unicorn who escorts them through an overgrown and dark path created in the canopy above. The party comes across an enraged druid found to be protecting a small sprout, an offshoot of the magical Chantefayan tree that is located in the elven homeland of Merenthor. They convince the druid they have no ill intention to him, the sprout, or the forest. He leads them to the small druidic community residing in the forest, where they take the opportunity to rest. At dawn the next day, the druid leads them north until they finally emerge from the forest and continue heading towards the city of Escher Ridge.
Welcome back to the Return to Esturan, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dungeon Master Sam, and with me we have Addison, Luke, Michael, and Rob. As of our last session, our intrepid adventurers have gone through the Verte Jardin forest, where they discover that the forest seems to be quite out of sorts. However, upon being discovered by a unicorn and escorted through the twisty path throughout the dark trees, they were able to restrain themselves, and in doing so were able to win over a very enraged druid who had been protecting the Chantefayan sprout, a small sprout which linked to the Chantefayan tree, the capital in the capital city of the elves. Since then, our players have been spending their time with the druid, and then afterwards they have headed north, and finally coming out of the Verte Jardin forest and heading towards the city of Escher Ridge. Now, in the last week, there have been some developments. So, Michael with Nero, what has Nero been up to in the last week?
So, over the last few months or weeks, Nero's been having an awakening of the soul, so to say, as he's uncovered as he's journeyed down the way of the uncovered path. So he's been developing his monkish abilities, and now has the ability to read thoughts and even track people.
Oh, okay. Yep, go on.
So that was it. Sorry.
It's all good. All right. So some nice monkish developments with Nero. Rob, what has young Master Tinkeret Pipe Drone been up to?
Tinkeret Pipe Drone has been working with a local druid, the one that we worked with together to save the Chantefayan sprout, to turn my rapier into an undead damaging rapier, a corpse-slaying rapier. So, been doing that, and I also read a couple of books and dug up around because I heard there was a adventurer who tried to find the sprout but died, and I found his body, and on his body a ring of protection, so stuck that on. Plus, I've been doing some further warlock understanding without communing with my pact, and I now can see in the dark.
Ooh, your patron must be very happy with your progress if that's the case.
I believe so.
Or are they? Don't know.
That's just it. I don't know how long that will last.
That is very fair. All right. And Luke F., what has Solturum been up to this week?
I have been focusing on my developing magical ability and learning some new spells, and also how to use the Wand of the War Mage, which the druid granted to me for my assistance in healing the sprout.
It's a very generous druid. Wand of the War Mage, ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, provides him with a +1 to his spell attacks. It also means that he is able to ignore half cover in combat. So, gonna curve those fireballs.
Yep. Fireballs.
All right. And Addison, what has Morkan been up to?
Similar to Tinkret, he's turned his halberd into a corpse slayer, and he's taken the name of Holy Avenger for it.
Ooh, Holy Avenger. There's a name to strike fear into the forces of darkness. All right. So is that empowerment by his god, or is that something he hopes to be empowered by his god?
No, I think that's something that he's basically been praying a lot to his god, and his god gave him the instruction to name it Holy Avenger, and to smite down undead in his name.
Excellent. All right. And Luke E, are you back yet? Maybe not.
No.
Well, in that case, for everyone else, as far as I'm aware, Ogre has simply been working on his particular skills, sharpening them up on the more darker dangers of the forest, and in doing so, he has also received his own reward from the druid. Aside from that, he has simply been able to enhance his spear and has been testing it and trying to make sure it's all okay. Now, from here, guys, there have been no further problems between you and the Shantafane Sprout, and Escher Ridge. It seems that the forest seem to pretty much get out of your way as you depart from the druid and head north through one of the passes of this mountain range. After about 5 days travel, going north, then northwest, and then immediately west, you guys have entered into Escher Ridge, which is the easternmost city, or the easternmost human city of the kingdom. Now, Escher Ridge is a fairly large city, one of the largest human settlements across this particular country. For the most part, you do know that it has some excellent seafood, but it derives the majority of its economy from the various oceans and seas around it. It looks like it's fairly profitable. You see all the signs of a well-maintained city, and even with your very sharp perception among certain of you, such as Nero, you note that there seems to be very little in the way of obvious crime. So the city itself seems to be largely based out of stone from the nearby mountains, which in this case is a mixture of slate and granite. The city itself and the people among it don't necessarily seem overly economically rich, but they seem like they're getting by and have no problems, at least with their higher-ups at this particular case. All right, I just heard a ding. Did somebody just come in?
It seems like Luke joined back, but I don't know if we can hear him.
Yeah, I don't think I can hear him. That's all right. Luke, if you can't hear me, just message me on Discord and I will see if I can kick you out of the server, and then you can come back in.
Oh, there we go.
Now we can.
There it goes.
Hello?
Yo.
Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, perfect. In that case, Luke, do you want to let us know what Ogre has been up to? I provided a very bad summary.
Olga's just been learning some off the druid and has enchanted his spear with the effects of phasing via the phase spiders, and just been on the road just throwing his spear at trees and phasing it back to his hand before it hits.
Alrighty. It seems that you are still encountering some microphone problems, but for the most part, I think the message got through. Olga has just been learning Sylvan, and he's been learning how to deal with his new spear, which has acquired the power to teleport itself back to his hand after it's been used. Is that right?
Yes.
Silence means yes. All right. So, upon entering...
Olga, wait a sec, Sam. Olga also decided...
Yeah, can you guys hear me or
not? And silence means yes.
Somehow I feel like that's not the case, but there's nobody here to say otherwise.
Rules are rules.
All right. So, upon entering Escher Ridge, the group of you are suddenly flagged down as a courier quickly runs up to both Tinkrit and Solturan before making a quick bow. Excuse me, sirs, would I be receiving the honor of talking to the sons of House Pipedrone and the son of House Vikram?
You are.
Indeed.
I am most glad to hear that.
Get up, my boy, get up.
I am most glad to hear that, and thank you, sir. I have been asked to remain by this gate in case that you had come here. It seems that you have some correspondence, I believe, from the army waiting for you at the guard captain's headquarters.
Would you step aside for a moment, my good man, while I talk to Lord Salturum here for a second?
Of course, my lord.
Thank you. Salturum, if the army wanted to contact us, why wouldn't they use the stone?
That does sound unusual.
Hmm.
Though, to be frank, they've never contacted us through the stone before. We've always contacted them.
No, I think they have contacted us through the stone.
Well, we could always make a contact.
Yeah.
Now and verify the story.
True, and let's everyone be aware. That's all, I guess. Let's make everyone aware.
Yes.
Thank you, my boy. Thank you for that moment of privacy. Do you need to take us somewhere?
I can provide you directions, but if you would like me to take you there directly, my lord, I am perfectly capable of doing so.
Let's do that, shall we?
Of course. Right this way, sir. All right. So, the pathway that he leads you through Escher Ridge is fairly winding. You can see that the majority of the city does seem to be at least under a reasonable layer of dirt, and as I mentioned before, the city seems to be of middling prosperity. You do wander through various markets, and as you go through, you are able to note that the city itself seems to have at least 3 churches, and it also seems to have a local mages guild. In connection to that, you can also see a few stores which are currently selling a few smaller trinkets, mainly small baubles, just to entertain tourists and keep those higher ups who are a little bit more easily entertained occupied. Now, the path that he eventually leads you up to is a dark stone building, which is very ominous from the outside, and you can see that it seems to be stationed with the king's flag. This is currently the guard's headquarters of the city of Escher Ridge.
Excellent. So where now, my good man?
If you will go through the second door to the right, my lord, then you should be able to pick up your correspondence. I believe if you simply ask the main clerk at the front, then they will be able to provide it to you.
Certainly. You lead the way. I think it's best that you introduce us.
Right away, my lord. So with that, he leads you forward and pushes open a dark oaken door. Now, on the inside, it is quite a deal warmer than it is outside, as it is a fairly cold day today. You can see that the inside seems to be warmly decorated with some fairly sparse chairs, but a fireplace nearby crackles quite merrily. A clerk sits behind a desk wearing the garb of the police of the city, so the city guards, and as you enter the building, he looks up and just scans the crowd, his eyes settling for a little longer on Tinkrit and Ogre before he moves on to his companions. Yes, how can I help you today?
This good gentleman here has informed us we have correspondence waiting. Both my Lord Salturum, Vikram here, and myself, Tinkrit Pipedrone, Esquire.
You are the ones who intended to have correspondence delivered. Just a moment, sirs, and I will be able to retrieve it for you. So the guardsman, gets up from his desk and he heads into an adjoining room where you can see he seems to be bending over and accessing a small file cabinet. It isn't quite filled with much. It looks like everything is quite orderly and tidy in this particular room. After he gives a bit of a successful aha, he returns and hands a fairly thick level of parchment which has been sealed with the emblem of Commander Droit to Salturum. Here you are, my lord.
Thank you. All right. When did this arrive?
I have been advised that the commander had this sent through roughly 3 days ago. I have also been advised that apparently similar letters have been provided to many other villages and cities nearby in the hopes that you will be able to receive at least one copy of these.
All right. I might just have a word with Lord Tinkrit for 1 second.
Did I think he was lying by any chance, Sam?
What's your passive? Oh wait, no, I literally have your stats up now. Haha, go me. Give me a second. All right, so passive insight of +8. All right, so the gods themselves would have an issue lying to you. You don't get do not get the impression that he's lying to you, but on the other hand, you don't get the impression that he has much of a personality to lie with. The clerk behind the desk seems to be a little deliberate in his speech patterns, and you anticipate that his thinking processes are probably on the same level.
All right. Well, my Lord Tinkrit, it is unusual that he has been sending out so many letters to try and find us. Particularly when we have the stones for him to communicate.
Let's take a moment to try and contact him on the stone, don't you think?
Yep, I agree. Okay, we will try and contact Commander Droit on the stone.
No.
Well, just flagging that I think it'd be worthwhile, chaps, if I also tried maybe undoing this envelope maybe with thieves' tools, so it's...
Yes, my thoughts exactly.
In case it's trapped or some such.
I concur, good Nero.
So, as you guys begin to confer and begin to pull out the communication stone, the guardsman steps forward. If your lords would like, we do have private rooms in which we question any suspects. I can escort you there if you would desire some privacy away from the common folk.
That's my insight to see if he's fiddling with us.
Again, Tinkrit in this case also feels that this guardsman does not seem to have any malicious intent.
I think we can, if you just give us some space, we can. We'll finish our conversation and review the correspondence and come back and come back to you.
Of course, my lords. I will deal with the courier and dismiss him as well.
The courier? The courier is still here?
I presume so. You guys walked in with him.
I thought you said he was a courtier.
Oh, okay. Courtier. No, courier.
Okay.
Okay. A courier. All right.
Yes.
Let's just contact Commander Droid on the
the back phone.
Yeah. All right, Sam. I'll contact him.
All right. Insert generic internet dial tone here, then.
Yeah, I can hear the fax sound, the old fax sound.
Or the old modem sound. Remember
yes.
The modem sound?
Yeah, the old school one. Alrighty, so it takes probably a moment of speaking into the stone, and when a voice sounds through, it sounds very distant and very crackly, as if you're yelling at somebody from a great distance. Lo is speaking.
It's Lord Vikram and Lord Tinkrit calling for needing to contact Commander Droit as a matter of urgency.
Droit, I will on message. Salturum?
Correct.
Just moment, please.
Sounds like your normal internet, Sam.
Now, my internet is actually the original NBN, fiber to the premises here.
I'm just staring.
All right.
It's more like augers.
Yeah, can you guys actually hear me?
See what I mean?
All right. So when Commander Droid's voice begins to come through the speaking phone, can't really. It seems to be undergoing similar muttering something in a very irritated tone. There is a moment of silence before an abrupt burst and crackling noise. It seems to solve at least the fading out, but he still seems to be very faded away. Hello, am I speaking with Lord Solturum?
Commander Droid, we've arrived in Esherbridge and have been immediately approached by a courier who claims to have been sent by you to deliver a letter to Lord Tinkrit and I. Is that correct?
That is correct. I've been attempting to communicate with your group for some time. Is there some potential that there may have been interference with the stones?
We have been, Commander, combating the legacy of the evil we pursue in the forest north of Esherbridge for the last number of days.
The Verted Jarden Forest, is that it?
That's correct.
Yes.
Understood. It is a heavily magical location, and sometimes it does cause interference with such magical items such as the speaking stones, but at the current time, it seems that I've been lucky enough for you to receive the correspondence. So, has there been any other problems that I should be kept apprised of?
We were concerned that the communications from the army may have been compromised, given the nature of the power we're dealing with. So we wish to confirm the authenticity of the letter with you directly.
Of course. If there were such compromises, then I would immediately advise you via some other medium, but I can understand your worries about going through the speaking stone and the communication directly.
My Lord Tinkrit, do you think we should take up more of the good commander's time, or read the correspondence and return to him if we have any questions?
The latter, my good man. The latter.
Thank you, Commander Droid. We will read your correspondence. If we have any questions after reading it, we will contact you again.
Yes, of course. I trust that you are succeeding well in your mission, and I look forward to hearing your reports.
All right, let's open this letter.
I still do the thieves' tool thing on its
Yes, of course. Yeah.
and I'd also like to investigate it to see if there's any proof of its provenance.
Mm-hmm. All right, hit me up with your dice rolls.
We are a suspicious mob tonight, aren't we?
Ooh, sleight of hand for 25. Nice work. All right, so using your thieves' tools, you are definitely going to be able to succeed and open this letter. Flavor it up for me. You are going to be drastically successful about being able to open this without interfering with the contents.
So, taking a lancet-looking device, I prise the seal free, but keeping it perfectly intact, so it's potentially able to be reused, and then slide it open, and whilst checking to see if there's any sort of poisonous gases or powders or some radioactive isotopes hidden inside.
Perfect. Alrighty. So to a casual glance, this particular letter is containing anything malevolent. A further check over seems to indicate that this letter has been sketched by Commander Droid, or at least someone very familiar with his handwriting. You have no inclination written by Commander Droid.
You're fading in and out, Sam.
Yeah, sorry, Sam.
Sorry. You are able to confirm that it seems to be written in the hand of Commander Droid, or by somebody very familiar with his handwriting. However, you have no inclination to disbelieve it was not written by Commander Droid. So, as you guys finish up with the letter, there is a quick knock at the door, and as you look over, you can see that the guardsman clerk is standing there holding a small pouch. Sirs, I've been advised to deliver this to you along with the letter. It came with a courier. It was delivered shortly after this letter as well. There seems to be simply a note here saying, to reward you for a good job, please consider your accommodation purchased already.
Nero? There's some checking that needs to be done. I'm feeling particularly suspicious today.
I'm noticing this, yeah, guys.
This clerk must think we are the biggest bunch of weirdos.
Was that free board? Good for me.
So, Sam, at my earliest opportunity, I want to try and sort of map out the lie of the land with this place and what's going on with the watch and what's going on with the... It's a port town as well, so surely there'll be a thriving criminal community. So it's how. So I guess I asked, how do we find where will we be lodged? Where are we staying, chap?
Alrighty. Well, when you do check into the pouch, eventually after, I presume, doing every single test aside from opening it, you are able to uncover...
Thank you for saving half an hour gameplay.
You are able to discover that there seems to be 10 gold coins inside. Investigation 21. Yep, there's 10 gold coins inside, and presumably with the instructions, it is intended for you to find some nice accommodation for yourself. With 10 gold coins, you are almost assuredly the finest that the city can offer. And I assume Tinkrit is trying to steal it.
But well, there's still 10. I was just going to play a trick, but not steal it.
Ah, okay.
Like actual sleight of hand.
A what?
Do actual sleight of hand. Say, and perhaps we should pay with these 10 gold coins. But
So I turn to the clerk and say, if we were to go to Austria, how would we get to Austria from here? Who should we speak with?
I would recommend speaking with the harbour master, sir, but to book transport to Austria will likely require you to receive permission from the guard captain. At the moment, he is currently on rounds with some of our newest recruits, but he should be back by night's fall. If you would like, I can forward your residential address, and he may be able to come to you directly.
Please do. It's
I'm really tired.
apparently.
Exhausted level 6. Okay, so Addison's dead. Time to reroll more time.
A quick healing word on him.
You can't cast healing will on him. He's dead. He's not just a little dead. He's fully dead.
He's not proving.
where should we stay? Is there anywhere that you recommend? Anywhere that's particularly good for getting a bit of the local flavour of the town?
So you guys heard as far as the captain of the guard is very stern. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Of course, the captain of the guard. He's very disciplined, and he expects the same from among his men. They are allowed to drink, but only outside their work hours, sir. And even then, they are expected to moderate their intake.
What's this chap's name? We're due to meet him this evening, and I would hate to offend him, but he seems to be running a tight ship.
Of course, sir. You would be looking for... Where are we? You would be looking for Captain Julian Patissier, sir. Just Captain Patissier is probably the recommended for a guard from these other cities to refer to him by.
How long has he been in the job?
Sir, he has been the captain of our fair city for about 2 years now.
Seems to run a tight ship.
Of course, when you are a seafaring port such as ours, then we are...
Hello?
Yeah, he's,
Mapow.
yep.
To be fair, I did just lean forward. Did that fix it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Apparently it just means my microphone is being overly sensitive and cutting me off.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I need to sit back, which is probably going to be better for my posture and this pinched nerve. Crap, what was I saying?
Something about a tight ship.
Yeah.
I guess. The captain prides himself on reducing the amount of criminals in the city and ensuring that the folks such as myself are able to get on with their life without any interference from the more unpopular elements.
Is it bad for business for you?
Oh, I certainly don't think so, sir. We have an abundance of seafood, and we export quite a lot, especially to the capital city, who seem to enjoy our produce.
Fantastic.
Seeing as we're here, should we get some food?
Of course, sir. Is there anything that you would prefer? We are running a delightful seafood gumbo.
Gumbo away.
Yeah. Take the gumbo.
In that case, sir, it will be 5 copper coins, and I'll be right back with your juice as well. All right. So, moving on now to Salturum and Tinkrit. Now, you guys are heading towards the Squared Otter, which, won't lie, the Squared Mustelidae is the one that's probably going to stick in my head. Cubed, whatever, I can't recall. So the inn itself does seem to be fairly high class, and even as you have a look, you can see that the insides of it seem to be incredibly warm, and here and there, Salturum, you're able to see the occasional magical ward to encourage warmth, happiness, and prosperity to the business, as well as a few other wards to try and stave off bad luck and any criminal element coming in. So it does seem to indicate that this is a very well-respected inn and that they do have a little bit of coin to throw around to try and add those little extra benefits to those who seek its lodgings.
Fantastic. Well, I will go in, see if I can find the innkeeper.
So upon entering, you are greeted almost immediately by a very happy middle-aged halfling who, upon seeing you, simply says, "Welcome, my lords. How can I help you today?"
Well, my lord, Tinkrit and I would be looking for rooms for ourselves and also our party. So we'll be needing 6 rooms and meals. My lord Tinkrit, do you have any requests?
Evidently not.
Oh, he's back.
All right. So, good innkeeper. What can you tell us about? We've just arrived in the city, and we'd be eager to learn of any of the important recent local events and news. What can you tell us about anything of note that's occurred in the recent weeks?
Recent events. Just a moment, and he just turns, and you see him yell for somebody in the back. And almost immediately, a young halfling child does emerge from a nearby room and pretty much stations himself directly next to Tinkrit. "Can I take your bag, sir?"
Where, my boy, where?
"Oh, to your room? Are you not checking in?" And he gives a bit of a unsure look to the innkeeper.
I jest, my lad, I jest. Of course you may. But beware, I have cast terrible cantrips upon it.
Right away, sir. We do. If you are truly a mage, we are able to provide the greatest of accommodations for you. Do you require lodgings for a familiar? And then he just has a look around as if curious.
No familiar that needs lodging.
Of course, right away, sir. In that case, I will take them towards our best rooms for you.
You take them all the way to the room, my boy?
Of course, sir. Where else would I take them?
You said you're going to take them towards the rooms.
Sir, you've got me there. And then he just gives a bit of a grin, and then he picks up the bag and begins to kind of stumble his way up a staircase.
Oh.
All right, my lords. You said that you were looking for some major events around the city. I suppose that we did recently have our Baroness's son return to the city. And aside from that, we've had a good harvest this year, a good intake of the fish. Honestly, it's been a good year, but I don't think anything major has really happened. Was there something that you were after specific, like, sir?
The Baroness's son. What can you tell me about him?
Yes, the Baroness's son. He is a very quiet boy. He's always been rather shy. I don't recall him making many friends among us here in the city, but I can't really say anything negative towards him. If you do have an interest and you are lords, the chances are he may seek you out as per social protocol.
So it he must have been gone for some time for it to have been a matter of note in the city when he returned.
Oh, yes, sir. He, as far as I'm aware, has been studying in the capital city this entire time, but as he is now of age, he has returned to and finalized his schooling. He has finally returned to the city, and I suppose he'll be settling down to do whatever nobles are wont to do, I suppose.
And that the noble house of Esherbridge, the name escapes me momentarily. Would you be so kind as to remind me of the name?
So he looks you up and down for a moment, and presumably you are also like showing off the emblem of House Vikram.
Yep.
Yep, and also House Piperone.
Indeed.
Drone.
Pipe drone, yes.
My lords, I am honoured to advise that you were in the baronry of House Foxcal.
Ah, yes, that's right. I remember now. It's been a long journey today. I do need to catch some rest. My mind is certainly not keeping up to speed.
Do
What
we
was that
recall their connection to Cunard? Cunard?
Do I recall that, Sam? Can I? Okay, what do I know about this mob? Would I have, as a noble, some basic information about this house, or do I need to roll?
What? Oh wait, no, I have these things up here. I need to stop asking what your insights are, because now that you're all on D&D Beyond, I can just look at it.
What the insight?
Do you want us to roll?
I'm just bringing up your passive histories, that's all.
Yeah, history is. I got a.
Okay, Solturum has a passive history of 14. And Tinkerett has a passive history of 10. Alright, give me a moment.
What was the name of the house again, Sam?
Just put it into the chat. Should still be there.
House Focal. So that's like Focal. It's like pretend Californians.
House Focal.
Yeah. Oh, you're sending us something.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Is there a way to have like a second room where you could pop us in and then tell us that and then pop back?
Hypothetically, yes. I mean, I can set up a second room.
We could use the birthday, the Awakened Fables birthday.
Yeah, I have no idea where that one even came from. I think
No. But we could get there, and then you could tell us, and then that would save you all the typing.
probably would be the logical manner, and I should have done this before, huh?
Oh, my lord Tinkrit, I do recall the young heir to House Focal. I did come across him briefly in the capital. Now that I recall,
Yes.
but more I know more of him by report than by any personal experience.
Right, and his
we
relationship with Canard.
might have a conversation, some more conversation about this later over a glass of wine.
Splendid.
Lord Tinkrit, good innkeeper. Has the Baroness planned any particular celebration at all for the return of young Celipe?
Our great Baroness is currently in the capital herself. I believe that she simply sent her son back in order to oversee the required noble duties here, while she herself is representing our baronry within the House of Lords.
Interesting. We noticed quite a lot of constabulary about. Any particular reason for that? More than normal.
Oh, of course, sir. Our city is the safest port this side of Esturan, and we pride ourselves in that reputation. It is, I suppose, more of a reflection of the current captain of the guard. He, prior to his appointment, this city was quite unsafe to walk about, particularly at night.
A hive of scum and villainy.
It is a very flavorful phrasing, but not unsuitable for that description.
Lovely. You will, of course, want me to perform, having heard of me.
It's not faded out for me.
Sorry, what? Can't hear you, Sam.
Repeat that. You kind of buzzed out for me. Can you guys hear me again?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. All right, repeat that last thing for me, Rob.
I said you will, of course, want me to perform in your hall, knowing my reputation.
Of course, my lord. I did not dare to ask, just in case you thought it presumptuous. But
No.
if you're willing to perform for for the residents who are currently here, then I would be quite honoured to hear you.
Seeing you've been such a polite and welcome host, I will halve my normal appearance fee.
He gives you a bow from behind the desk. Of course, my lord. Is there anything else I might be able to do for you?
No, I think not.
Of course. If that's the case, might I take the presumption to order yourself and Lord Solturum some hot water so that you may refresh yourself from the road?
I think we'd prefer wine. Isn't that right, Solturum, my boy?
Why can't we do both?
Indeed, let's do both.
Right away, sirs. I will get that organized.
We bathe in the water, though, and drink the wine.
Well, that is slightly different, my lord, than the way we usually do it.
Indeed. Let's try the normal fashion.
Now roll that d20 and see what you end up bathing in instead. Alrighty. Now, Addison with Morkan, you are heading towards the markets in order to see whether you might be able to find yourself a good deal. Was there anything in particular that you were looking for?
Can I just quickly, before I go on, just requested, like, if anyone wants anything, just nothing, like, huge. I specifically want plate mail, but basically I'm doing, like, coffee orders. Anybody want anything before I go, or are we good?
I'll get a couple of hand axes if that's cool.
No worries.
I'd be interested in some very light, armor, but something which will not impair my sorceress powers. So if you see anything there, I can compensate you for the cost of it on your return, or alternatively reserve it for me to pick up later.
That's more likely. I don't know how much I have on my person at the moment.
Morkan, thank you so much.
if this conversation happened before we split up, but I'm certainly keen for any shops of curiosities. There's some items that I think could assist. But
Of course. I'll suss it out. All right, and I head off to the market.
Alrighty. So the markets itself aren't overly that extravagant, particularly compared to the larger cities of, for example, Verabir or Freiburg. However, they do seem to have enough trinkios and curiosities that most tourists here should be able to find at least something that they may be wanting to buy. For the most part, the street food is going to be seafood-based, but you do occasionally see other food and vegetables being offered as well. Now, as you begin to head towards the industrialized area with the smiths and so forth, you can see that the quality of work does seem to be varied quite drastically between many of the smiths, and it takes you some time before you're able to find a smith whose wares meet your personal demands. Now, it looks like this particular smith in question is able to specialize, it looks like, in iron. So they are able to provide you a hand axe, but lighter leather might be a little bit more difficult. Lighter leather armor might be a bit more difficult if you're looking for those.
Not a problem. How many hand axes, what's the going price for one hand axe?
So the smith washes off her hands and looks you up and down. For you, sir, I think these ones would be a bit too light for a Goliath such as yourself.
Oh no, they're for a half orc. So, whatever you think is best.
A half orc. She stops for a moment before she wanders her way over to a small collection of axes. I believe that these ones might be best for him. At the moment, I'm currently pricing them at about 5 gold pieces each.
Okay, I'll grab 2 of them.
2 of them, sir? Of course. All right.
No
Anything
problem.
else?
Thank you very much. Do you by chance have any plate armor, full plate armor?
Plate armor. Ooh, there isn't much demand for that at the moment. For the most part, the captain of the guard does seem to prefer that his men go around in chain armor, but I'll see whether there is any project that I might have unfinished. If that is the case, sir, I might not be able to sell it to you immediately, but it should be ready by morning.
That is not a problem.
Just a moment, sir, and I'll see what I can find.
Of course.
Alrighty. Don't mind me. Definitely not looking up things on D&D Beyond. Here we go.
It's like 2,000 gold.
Yeah, I know, right? 1,500. You were actually really close. Well, comparatively. Alright, let's have a look. Here we are. So, sir, it is as I feared. It looks like we did originally have some plate armor destined to be sold. It does look like this one, unfortunately, was left in the back, and it does have some rust, but I should be able to buff that out and fix up any of these smaller issues of wear and tear for you. But as is wont for plate armor, it is going to be a pretty penny. I'm looking at... I'm willing to take away some of the costs just to cover the disrepair and state it's in now, but I can't charge you less than 1,250 gold pieces right now.
Right, okay. That is a lot. How about, do you need anything done? Can I do anything for you just to, any favors that can bring down any of this gold price?
She stops for a moment and looks very thoughtful. There are You are a man of the church, is that correct?
Correct. I'm a man of Helm.
And would I be so bold as to say that you are very strong?
You could assume that, yes.
Wonderful. There are a few, let's say, disreputable sorts around the city. About 4 people who have commissioned jobs but seem unwilling to provide the gold for me. I believe that if you are willing to liberate them, of course, just asking them, and I'm sure that you'll ask perfectly politely, of their due gold, then I believe that we may be able to come to a deal.
Not a problem. Who are
Excellent.
these people and where are they?
So she stops for a moment and then she writes down a very quick list on some parchment she has nearby. All right, here we are. So these are the ones who have keep running out on their cost. I've been getting excuses from them for months, but if you're able to bring back the amount of gold that they owe me, then I see no reason I may be able to sell this plate to you for as little as 200 gold pieces.
Oh, not a problem.
Excellent. Well, in that case, I'll get sorted and get it prepared, and so long as you bring me the full amount of money that's owed to me, then I believe we should have this sorted by morning.
Of course. I will do this for you.
Excellent. In that case, I will see you in the morning.
See you in the morning, madam.
Alrighty. So, in order to go through and liberate the gold, how do you as the character want to do this?
Morkan is just going to pretty much. He will approach the person in question. Pretty much be like, "Hello, sir. I'm under the impression that you owe some money to a blacksmith in town. Is it possible that you have that money on your person? If not, I may have to, take some measures to make sure that I do get the money."
Alrighty, let me very quickly look. Intimidation plus 14. Alright, so the first of the men that you, the first of the names on the list simply looks at you with very wide eyes. Oh, right away, sir, I'll get that money to you right away. And he very quickly slams the door and you hear his footprints just rapidly going away before they just rapidly come back towards you. He opens the door a tiny crack and just thrusts a pouch of gold pieces at you. Here you are, no more and no less. That it was exactly the amount I owe her.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. So number 2, on the other hand, sees you coming and seems to not even bat an eye as you put through your request. The smith in question, she and I have an agreement, I give her a little bit of money every month and she stops asking me for it.
Can I insight check that?
Go for it. 16. All right, you get the impression that he is using the agreement very, very loosely. You do not believe him at all.
Right, that's not what I've heard. I've actually heard that you owe her a 10% interest for not actually paying up.
He scoffs for a moment. Tough. No, nah. It's women, you know what they're like, and she just always comes back and forth about this sort of thing, but she'll get her money, I was even going to send off some tomorrow for her.
No, I'm going to need that money now.
23 in intimidation. Nice. All right. How is the 23 going to look to us?
All right. So I'm like currently hunched over at like his doorway, so I'm not at my full height. I crack my knuckles, crack my back, and I stand up straight, put my halberd to the ground, look him dead in the eyes and say, "The money plus 10% now."
You hear him audibly gulp, which is impressive considering you're about 5 feet away from him at this point. Like with the previous man, he just simply gets up shakily and he heads into his house where you can hear the rummaging of metal on metal. It isn't long before he returns and shakily provides you with 2 pouches. Here you are, sir. This is the full amount plus 10%. The 10% I measured out to be about 50 gold pieces.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Have a good day, sir.
Just tell her that we're square now and she doesn't need to come after me anymore.
Sure, I'll tell her that.
Now, number 3 seems to be a fairly elderly lady who, as soon as you knock on the door, just kind of opens the door, looks you up and down, and then just slams it once more.
Excuse me, madam. Hello? Could you please open the door? I have a request.
Go away!
Madam, please. I have but a question to ask you.
Are you as deaf as well as ugly? I said go away!
Okay, come on, there's no need for that. Might I just come in? Or at least you come to the door?
I ain't letting you in, and I don't want any of your business.
Right. Can I see her through the door at all, or is there like a window?
There is a window next to the front door. You can see her sitting at a chair at her table, looking very satisfied with herself.
Right. Can I cast command?
Let me see whether you can. Command. What is the limitations on command?
It's not letting me put it in the...
60 foot. Yeah, I'm going to say that's fine. Doesn't say, yeah, you can see him. Okay, yeah, I'm fine for you to use command.
Perfect. And I'll just tell her to basically open the door. I know it's one word, but just open, I guess. Open the door.
All right. So you see the woman begin to very shakily get up, and in this case, she's trembling as if she's trying to resist what's going on. Let's see whether she can ultimately do so. There it is. That is a 4. All right. So, but ultimately, it seems that the power of your magic is able to overpower her willpower, and she very quickly heads to the front door and unlatches it for you.
Thank you very much, madam. Now that I'm here, where do you keep your gold?
So she looks up at you, and again, her eyes narrow. You're not getting any of my gold. Nobody's going to get my gold.
I'm afraid I'm going to get your gold, and so will the blacksmith that you owe her money. So you better either give it to me, or I'm going to go and take it. Now, I don't know how much she needs, but I'm going to take enough.
Roll me, let's say, persuasion.
Okay.
17, very nice. So, let's see if I'm going to use the previous 4. She just glowers up at you before she just slams her door with a huff, and like the previous one, then she comes back. Take your coin and get out!
Very much, madam.
Now, the final one is a much easier job. Like the first one, as soon as you walk up, he almost faints on the spot, gets his money, and gives that to you.
Have a good day, sir. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Alrighty. So let's go back to Nero and Ogre, if that's the case. You guys were in the elite fly. Were you guys wanting to do anything else, or are you just going to head to the inn after that?
I want to socialize with the off-duty officers, the off-duty watch, and just find out if there's what I can about the local crime scene, and also why I would need to get why we would need to get permission from the watchmaster to get a boat.
Yep. All right. Hit me up with a persuasion.
Given my background in the watch, would I have advantage on that, or?
I am willing to grant that. All right, so a 12 and a 19. Very nice. All right, so the time that you spend in the elite fly continues much as... the crowd in the elite fly continues much as when you enter the property. For the most part, it's only 2 or 3 guards ever at a time, and for the most part, they seem friendly enough, though a little bit wary of some of your questions. They do relax a bit once they learn that you have been a watch, particularly in the city's capital, and from there, they just question you over all sorts of your daring do's in the capital chasing down criminals. Now, over the course of your conversation, you come to learn that the reason for the permit from the harbour master is part of the crackdown on crime, particularly the smuggling in and out of produce and other magical illicit products from among the criminal element. In order to prevent this, the captain of the guard has requested that a permit be supplied by the watch in order to prevent, to make it more difficult for smugglers to come in and out of the city itself.
And last thing is, anything unusual been going on lately? Just anything out of the ordinary. And if I can, I'll use my detect thoughts ability not to dig into his mind, but to just skim the surface thoughts.
Yep. All right. Let me have a look. Detect thoughts. All right, and you're just casting that as a second level spell? No worries. Okay, that's easy enough. All right, so over the next part of the conversation, the guards just kind of look at each other and they don't seem to come... they just give a bit of a shrug and just advise pretty much what I mentioned before to Rob and Luke F, that it's been a good year, harvest has been large and so forth. The only thing that seems to pop up as part of their thoughts is that there was a guest to the heir of Foxcall about 7 days ago now. Aside from that, there wasn't anything particularly unusual, and even they didn't find that odd enough to mention.
Is how far ahead of us would the necromancer be?
Passive investigation. You would dare say that he is likely anywhere between 9 to 5 days ahead of you.
So an average of 7. I think that's Olga is. Do you think it's time for us to get back to the squared muscovite, or it's we've had our juice?
Yeah, done with the food and juice. There's no real point sticking around these wet blankets.
The guardsman looked moderately offended.
How much would this have cost us? Sorry, Sam.
The food plus the drink was 5 copper pieces.
Oh.
I nearly said gold pieces, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I'll pay that.
All right. So before long, you guys pay your tab to the barkeep and head back to the Square Otter, where you can see Ciruimon and Tinkrit doing something with water and wine. I don't know. But it looks like...
I'm sure we would have finished that by now. Well, the water part anyway.
Oh, excellent. All right. So what are you guys doing when they come up?
Well, I think, my Lord Tinkrit, it's time for us to have a chat with our colleagues Nero and Ogre. I want to relay some views I have about Salapay Fokel and see whether they've picked up anything in their travels which may confirm some slight suspicions I have about the young lord. So, I take it everyone's cool with that?
Yes,
evidently.
Yep.
So, all right. So, can we talk? One of the things you might remember that we had some evidence to suggest that the necromancer may be from a noble family that grows vines in the central region of the kingdom. And there was some talk about House Morlabat and a child that was kicked out of the capital for dabbling in dangerous spells. Now, that was one of our suspicion that the necromancer may in fact have been the child that was kicked out. But I do have some recollection of the rumours and gossip about Salapay Fokel, the young lord who's just returned recently while the Baroness is off at the House of Lords. Now, I had very little interaction with him. House Fokel is a minor house, but what I did know of young Salapay was that not many people thought he was worth anything. There was many people thought he was a rather obnoxious, annoying person, and people tended to have the view that he was somewhat parasitical. He had a habit of sidling up to the toughest, to the most powerful person in the room, and ingratiating himself with that person to the extent it met his own men. And I think I have some concern that, knowing the gossip that I heard in the capital about him, that the necromancer, or the evil that we pursue, would be just the type of power that young Celepe would see as a easy ride for him to power.
You are suddenly interrupted as Morkan enters into the lodgings, presumably looking a little bit harried from his earlier debt collecting.
What have you heard, Nero, and what did the guards have to say?
So this is a particularly, almost unusually law-abiding town. There's been a real crackdown on the export of, or the illegal export of goods, particularly agricultural goods. In terms of unusual things, apparently our noble friends had a visitor 7 days ago. Now, there wasn't much, the City Watch didn't investigate, there wasn't much more to it than that, but it's, the timing is curious, to say the least.
Now, Sam, that magical power that I was feeling, is it still to the north of me?
Correct. It has just been a constant presence. There hasn't been any fluctuations you can detect.
Okay. Good Innkeeper, would you be so kind as to tell me in which direction the Baron's Keep is?
Oh, certainly, sir. You'd be looking towards the north of the city, I believe. If you leave by the northeastern gate, then you should be able to get there. It takes probably about an hour's travel north of the city itself, but it's on this tiny little island out to sea. They say that they got a bunch of mages in to ensure that it was properly habitable about 2 centuries ago for the Baron's family, and from what I understand, it's a lovely-looking place, but quite a lot of magic is built up in there. They usually have to get a mage in every so often in order to restore the warding.
Well, my friends, I think that it's incumbent upon us to pay the young lord a visit.
Well, we are lords.
And kind regards of ourselves and Commander Droid.
Absolutely. He may be able to offer us assistance in our travels.
Well, I think that I think Nero, is it the case that what did you learn about why we have to go see the commander of the guard to get a boat? Is that just Australia, or is it any passage?
Any passage. There had been a thriving trade in contraband going in and out of the port, and the Captain Patissier has cracked down on that in the extreme. So it's it all seems to be in response to that, and even that has me worried, to be honest. The degree of lawfulness here is the rigidity of it is unusual, particularly for a port town.
It does smell of something else, doesn't it? Well, who would be a likely target? Because I could try and charm them and see what they would. A likely member of the cabal who's stealing things.
Well, we could do this lawfully, which would be, of course, my preference, and seek permission from the guard captain to take passage. Or there might be another way, which some of the more resourceful amongst you, the more persuasive amongst you, might be able to convince one of the local fishermen to take us by boat. If in fact the Baroness's castle is the nest the necromancer has chosen, then we may wish to approach it quietly.
Subtle like.
We are due to meet this Captain Patissier shortly. It's if there was anyone to start with, I'd say it would be him. But go carefully with your charming of persons on one such as he. I suspect this would not be his first rodeo.
It doesn't matter. I'm sure this particular spell that I use, even if they fail, they don't realise it's been played upon them.
So.
That's its beauty.
Hmm.
In fact, I've done it to you before.
As much as I yearn to hear
Just
Lord
kidding.
Tinkrit's House Conard song, perhaps we should ensure we attend our.
Yes, let's pretend that I've done it and we can do it in the next place. Perhaps a longer, perhaps a longer night. I'll do it again elsewhere. I'll keep on doing it wherever I go.
So at this point, you are interrupted as the innkeeper comes bustling up, holding 5 cups as well as a fairly large pitcher of wine. Respected the house, sir, would you like some more alcohol?
Funny you call it alcohol. What is it?
Well, I'm sorry, sir. It's a relic of my learning the common tongue. People do call it wine. It was brewed up in the north of here, past Esturan.
Brewed
In the central regions.
That's right, sir.
And how long has Escherich been obtaining its wine from the central regions of the kingdom?
For as long as I can remember, sir. I've been ordering it. My pappy's been ordering it, and his pappy's been ordering it.
Sure. Leave it here.
Right away, sir.
I'm not particularly thirsty.
Something is odd. Calling wine alcohol and then telling me that it's brewed.
Now, that just might be the DM failing his personal checks.
Okay, sorry. I was reading too much into it.
I tried playing it off, okay?
Was there anything that made me suspicious about the waiter's demeanor?
With your passive insight, you again detect no particular malice.
All right. Let's get things on the road. What do we want to do? Team?
Well, I thought Captain Patissier was coming here.
Was he?
Yeah, we left instructions that we are asking for him to meet us here.
That's a good idea.
Once he finished his rounds. So maybe we do just... apparently he is quite the teetotaler. So it's it may not be a good look for us to be drinking in front of him.
We're nobles and he's a mere captain. He'll do as he's told.
I shan't partake, but it's like you say, you are the nobility.
No, I don't want to be impaired should the need to unleash my powers be required this evening.
One wine has never impaired a pipe drone.
Yeah, I'm definitely drinking. I'm only the lowly bodyguard.
No, you get your promotion.
You are the highly thought of lowly bodyguard.
So I think we're going to wait here, aren't we?
Yes, let's do that.
Was the jumbo any good, by the way, Sam?
Sorry, that last part?
Was the seafood jumbo any good?
It was all right. Not the best food you've ever had, but you wouldn't kick it out of bed.
Isn't it a gumbo?
What did I say?
Jumbo.
Oh, good Lord. Sorry.
I apparently have taken my pedant pills tonight.
Oh, thank you. That was embarrassing. So it's not like I'd be raving about the seafood in this joint, in this town.
At least not that from the elite fly.
Sure.
The smells and food that you do see coming out of the kitchens of the Square Otter, on the other hand, does look quite a sight more palatable than the seafood jumbo that you received at the elite fly. However, it looks like they do also offer a variety of other things, such as shrimp, cooked fish, along with
Prawns.
Yep, that's one. Prawns. I speak to too many American streamers.
Yes. Lobster. I'll have some lobster.
Lobster, caviar.
Yes, I'll have
That's
some
seafood,
caviar
right?
too. Yes. Just
Not
sturgeon
sushi.
eggs is what it is.
Alrighty. So it's only about 20 minutes after sunset that you receive a notice from the innkeeper that Captain Patissier is here in order to see you.
Bring it in.
Right, just a sec. Alright, that's how we spell the captain's name, because otherwise I'm probably going to forget. Alright, so the captain himself, upon first impression, you get distinct reminders of Commander Droit in a way. He seems to be a fairly stern man with the hands which have been heavily scarred and seem to be accustomed to hard work. Even as he enters the room, his eyes immediately flicker to the pitcher of wine as well as the drink currently directly in front of Tinkrit and Ogre. And his mouth pretty much sets itself in a line so much that his lips almost disappear.
Would you like some food, Captain?
I will thank you for the offer, but no, I have a delicious meal waiting for me when I get home. Might I inquire as to the reason for your request to see me?
I'll leave that to Nero to explain. Nero, I believe you had questions.
Indeed, and it's if I can, I'll do use the last of my chi points for the day for the detect thoughts. Not a probing one, just the one that skims across the top and doesn't dig too, so he doesn't notice. I think he gets a save against that, though, doesn't he?
He does, yes.
I think the DC is 17. Would that be right?
Well, doesn't matter because he failed.
Cool. The Captain, quite a tight ship you're running here. You seem to have completely upended the smuggling trade.
He stops for a moment and then just looks at you directly. Guardsman Melaniro from the capital, am I correct?
Indeed, quite correct.
And you summoned me here to discuss my work ethic.
Not at all. We're just there's been a spate of undead all through the south. None of them have stretched their cold fingers this far north.
There have been no reportings of any necromancers or mages abusing their powers, if that's what you mean. We run a very tight ship in this particular city. All right.
Yeah.
Just a sec. Let me reread and throw in performance.
I can post it if you want.
That's all right. It's just me literally rolling up. Okay. Apparently, I get another wisdom saving throw. Which he also fails. You guys are picking on a man tired from his day.
Who's being a bit self-righteous.
All right. So, as he is responding to Nero, Tinkrit begins to subtly start drumming on the table, a small but fairly repetitive tune, and even without noticing, you can see that the captain begins tapping his foot in time to it, and his body language shifts to be slightly more friendly. I do apologize. I have had a bit of a long day, as you can understand. Yes, I have taken great pains in order to bring law back to this city. I was appointed 2 years ago, but I believe that you already know that information.
If we wish to go to the town of Ustri in just 3 days hence, would it be possible to secure passage on a vessel?
He gives a bit of a shrug. I see no particular problem with it. What is your intention there?
Well, this These undead, we fear, are stemming from around the Austray area. It's at which point I'm just lying, so I'm not sure if I need to take a deception.
Has he heard
check
of
for that.
anything of the undead?
Roll me deception.
Let me ask it. Let me ask it, my boy.
Yes.
So as you say that, his eyes immediately focus on you with a hawk-like laser focus.
He's still charmed.
He's still charmed. Well,
Yep.
he's charmed towards Tinkrit, but
yes.
not Nero.
No, but I asked it. I said that. Remember, I said, "Let me ask."
Oh, that's what you meant. All right.
Yeah. Whew, that was close.
No, Michael did get there first. All right.
The jig was nearly up.
Yes.
I see no particular problem with that, so long as you are obviously chartering one of the public transports in order to the city. There is at least one ferry between here and there per day, and again, so long as you have the appropriate permit, then I don't believe the guards will stop you entering the boat itself.
And do we have the correct permit?
If you are willing to pay the 5 copper pieces at the guards' headquarters, I will have that writ sent to you immediately.
Oh, could you possibly send someone to do that for us, my good man? I'd be ever so grateful.
So, he stops for a moment, and his focus goes even tighter on your particular, the emblem of House Pipe Drone. Right away, Lord Pipe Drone, or is it Air Pipe Drone?
Pipe Drone Esquire. And we remember our friends, good captain.
I understand. This is a fairly standard request that you have, and I see no problem with authorizing it.
Now, perhaps we'd like to... Nero, did you want to ask about his knowledge of the undead?
Well, he said that there had been no unusual activity from necromancers or undead around here lately.
I meant now that he is more closely aligned with our way of thinking. I whispered to Nero, now that he's charmed.
I'm just trying to think of how to frame
Quick,
it.
roll for how well you whisper.
I don't want him to...
Okay.
We're on a secret mission, and if he's in league with the necromancer, I don't want him to know that we're looking for the Well, I guess he probably already knows, doesn't he? So you said before there'd been nothing unusual with no reports of unusual necromancy. You said, or unauthorized. Is there? There are local necromancers then.
Well, that depends on your particular definition of the law, I suppose. Under strict technicality, healing spells do come under necromantic, the school of necromancy, as far as I'm aware, and we do have several licensed healers around the city.
Oh, I see. And has the House Foxhall been an ally of yours in your cracking down on crime?
Our fair lady has given me full authorization in helping to cure this city of its crime problem. I do not have any particular rapport established with the young heir, but he has not yet interfered with my work.
He had a guest recently. Do you know anything about him?
A guest? If the young lord has been entertaining guests on his own time, it is not something I've been made aware of.
Sure.
Nero, I whisper it with Nero. I said, Nero, do we hear that the necromancer was with him? With the Lord?
The young lord had a guest, a strange guest, about a week ago.
A robed guest?
The folks I was talking to, I only caught a shadow of a memory.
Right.
Captain, does the ferry stray, does it perchance stop at the Baroness's castle on the way?
The ferry does not, obviously we do want to keep security on the Baroness's manor as tight as possible. However, I do understand that it is quite the sight to behold from the ferry on one of the brightest days of summer, but you would be unable to catch the ferry directly to there.
And if we were, I am familiar with Lord Salape Focal from my time in the capital. By no means close though, but if I had time, if I desired to pay him a visit, then what would be the process for visiting, seeking an audience, and making my way to the island castle?
If you have announced your presence and our guard have indeed reported your arrival in the city, then I dare say the young heir, should he desire to see you, will request your attending at his manor, likely by tomorrow.
We needn't wait for that, surely. Surely you can give us a card that will allow us entrance.
So
my good man.
He stops for a moment, and even within your magical grasp, you can sense that he is wavering for a bit, as he seems to be fighting at least a little among himself at your particular request. Eventually, he just gives a bit of a barely noticeable sigh before continuing on. It is not authorization that I am able to provide, my good lord Pipe Drone. The only person able to dispense authority to attend the Baroness's manor would be either the Baroness or the heir himself.
Well, certainly we must move there to find it then. Lovely. Excellent suggestion.
If you would like to express your interest in visiting, then I can also arrange a courier in order to deliver your interest.
I'm certain we can deliver our own message, my good boy.
Understood. Well, is there anything else that I might be able to help you with, or should I arrange for the delivery of your writ?
Yes, arrange. Please do arrange for that. Does anybody else have any more questions for the good captain?
Nothing from me.
No.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your help, good sir. Thank you ever so much.
So he leaves the room and closes the door behind him. At this point, guys, I'm kind of assuming that you guys have your own little private dining room that you're eating in.
Cool. Yep, makes sense.
Yep.
We're important.
No, I wanted to mingle.
No, we've got important things to talk about.
That's right.
Hey, if you want to mingle, you go to the public dining room.
You can. You can go and mingle. Take some caviar with you. They'll make some friends.
No, I'm sure the peasants will love this.
That's right.
Now, what is it?
It is fish eggs, you know? What's a fish?
Sturgeon, very rare. Very rare indeed. Right, what are we going to do, guys? We're going to go tomorrow? We're going to sleep tonight and go tomorrow?
I think we should rest tonight and go tomorrow.
You can't take care of it tonight? Okay.
All right. So, do you guys have anything further you'd like to do for tonight? Tinkrit, I think you want to perform?
Yeah, I'll perform.
Yeah, let's hear this song.
In the interest, you want to hear the song? You want to wait till next round?
Well, do you want to put some music to it?
No, I know. No, it's not that. It's just that I know that Sam wanted to finish up early.
Yeah. I think now's a good time to finish it because really we're just going to make our way to the castle and continue our investigations there.
Kill them all.
No worries. Good roleplay session then, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Oh, so we're not going to hear the song. All right.
Oh, well, I mean, we can hear this. I am I'm absolutely excited to hear the song. And I hope there's a part in there where you get to repeat the word cunt, cunt, cunt after House Canard.
Not quite, but it's along those lines. Remember, we're trying to destroy their name, are we not? And
by telling the truth, yes, we are.
That's right. And but so that's the idea of the song.
Go for it. Let's hear the song.
All right. House, treasonous House Canard. Its honor it did discard. Prosperity of the kingdom it does retard. House, smug House Canard. People's welfare they disregard. You might call them dirty blackguards. House, murderous Canard. Their underlings left a city charred. Their very land they did leave scarred. House, gross House Canard. Their men are soft and their lady bits hard. There's no sex appeal, not a shard. House, selfish House Canard. They're traitors to the state. They don't give a whit about your fate. No matter what they say, they are not your mate. House, cheating House Canard. They can't sing at all. They can't find keeping a tune hard. Any note they aim for, they miss by a yard. Unlike a certain handsome bard. Now I end my tale of sad Canard. The traitorous dogs with their nobility marred. From the House of Lords they'll be disbarred. If you find one sneaking, shout out, on guard! So none of us are safe while Canards twist words. They smell quite bad, their breath like turds. Lock them up, the dirty jailbirds. Lock them up with the criminal herds. House Canard. Against their depravities we must guard. Run them out of town, feathered and tarred. Never to rule again, we should mark their card. House, bloody Canard. Never to rule again, we should mark their card. Never to rule again, we should mark their card.
Very nice. Did you just run out of words ending in AR by the end?
No, I just thought there's the magic of three. If you say something three times, then it sticks.
That was great, man. That was really good.
Yeah.
All for it. Yep.
And all of it spectacularally true.
Indeed, it was based upon fact.
I mean, really, that's not just a song. That's a news report. You're actually doing a service to the kingdom, informing the population to beware.
That's the idea. Yes. So as we go, we'll continue to sing that song. I won't actually do it, but we'll see. I will sing it wherever we go, and we'll destroy their name.
I feel like I might probably wake up humming that song. So,
House Canard.
All right, gentlemen, you've had a fairly roleplay heavy session, and very nice work. I don't know if you can really name an MVP, but frankly, because of all that, I'm honestly inclined to give you all MVP and give you all 1 point of one nat 20 each.
Yay!
Sweet.
Any objections?
What's the total for no, not at all. What's the total for that 20s at the moment?
Alrighty. So in total, let's have a look. Leading the charge. Oh, just a sec. Apparently, I am derping. So leading the charge is currently Luke E, playing Ogre, who currently has 7 nat 20s stored away.
What can I get for 7 nat 20s?
Because you don't spend them on
a dragon. You can get a dragon.
But what can I get?
It's not exponential.
Coming in second is Michael/Nero with 6 nat 20s, but he still does have a nat 1 stored away. Coming third is Luke F, who has 2 nat 20s, and then Rob and Addison, who both have 1 nat 20 stored away, though Rob has 1 nat 1 stored away now.
Oh no, I like I said, I have the 5. I wanted to disagree with you, sir. in my circle, my green circle, I had 5 up there, and that's what I traded.
Yeah, but you used one right towards the end there, remember?
Oh, did I? No, I don't. But if you say so, that's okay.
Yeah, you both used a nat 20 to heal the tree.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. Thanks.
That's all good. All right, well, in that case, I guess we will finish the session there, and I will get Craig out of here.
I'm going to pantomime.